After winning the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships in 2022, Red Bull is at an all-time high, enjoying record-breaking success. Red Bull announcing a brand new engine partnership between Red Bull Powertrains and Ford Motor Company reveals a variety of manufacturing and strategic options for the Milton Keynes-based team, which is riding high on confidence at the present moment. As once Isaac Newton said, whatever goes up must come down. And in Red Bull's case, Ferrari, Mercedes and Alpine seem to have burst Red Bull's high bubble already after the latest news coming out of the Formula One world. Stick around to find out what the bad news is for Red Bull, and if Cosworth Engineering has any plans on making a return to Formula One. Red Bull's RB19 car launch was highly anticipated, and to say for the least, it took the team forever to unveil its 2023 title defender. Finally, when the moment arrived, and when the team unveiled its RB19, the anticipation turned into complete disappointment. The car looked more or less just like the RB18 was, while the livery also has stayed mostly the same. One thing that kept the crowd still at the launch event was the Red Bull-Ford engine partnership announcement. Ford's partnership with Red Bull Powertrains has been an iconic moment in Formula One, bringing back one of the most decorated brands back into Formula One racing. Ford is the third most successful engine supplier in Formula One history. Ford said they looked at all the teams in the Formula One grid to collaborate for the new 2026 power unit, but did decide not to partner with an automotive company, as they did not want their partner to rival them in auto sales. Therefore, Ford concluded to partner with Red Bull Powertrains due to their current status in the car market. Mark Rushbrook of Ford Motor Company had this to say to the media: "It definitely is right to partner with somebody like Red Bull Powertrains because they are not our rival auto manufacturer. It would not have felt right or appropriate to partner with another auto manufacturer together on the power unit. There certainly were some opportunities to do that, but that wasn't the right way for us." Ford seems to be thinking about their business in the auto market when they selected Red Bull to be their power unit partner. However, the partnership in the perspective of Red Bull seems to have landed them on a very difficult position. Red Bull's partnership and relationship with Japanese manufacturer Honda has come under a load of criticism, and Red Bull having to defend the Japanese manufacturer at many instances. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner has come out to say to the media that the relationship with Honda has ended due to the partnership's complex nature. "We have a great relationship with Honda, and we've enjoyed so much success with them," explained Horner. "And that relationship runs to the end of 2025. Both the team and Honda will be doing everything possible to add to the success that we've already achieved." To the conclusion of those arguments, "We explored the relationship beyond 2025, but it just logistically became too complicated," said Horner. Red Bull and Honda always had this ill-defined area between them when it came to who owns the IP to the engine. Horner's last statement did put an end to that question for good. There is no crossover of intellectual property. All the Honda engines are produced in Japan, and everything on the Red Bull Powertrain side is very much focused on 2026. So, there is a clear Chinese wall between the two activities, but we are obviously going to be working with Honda over the next few years to achieve the best results we can. We have a homologated engine, so it's effectively frozen. Honda supply that engine, they own all of the IP, so we don't see inside the engine or anything like that. We will be doing our best with Honda to try and defend and achieve further race wins and championships," said Christian Horner. After Honda officially withdrew from the partnership with Red Bull as an engine supplier, Red Bull brought up its own Powertrains division to supply its team and its sister team AlphaTauri with the power units from 2026 onwards. Red Bull registered Red Bull Powertrains for the 2026 engine regulations, and did try to acquire new engine supplier status while doing so. It does make sense to do so, considering Red Bull Powertrains are just breaking ground. But Ferrari did take its stand against Red Bull Powertrains being recognized as a new engine supplier. There have been even rumors that Ferrari may veto against Red Bull's entry as a new engine supplier. First of all, for your information, let's go through about what this new engine supplier status is all about. As part of the welcome package encouraging new manufacturers like Audi to enter F1, new entrants are to be allowed extra spending power and dyno time relative to established suppliers. In essence, they are allowed extra spending power and extra dyno time relative to the established manufacturers in the build-up to the introduction of the new regulations. New suppliers can spend an extra $10 million in 2023, $10 million in 2024, and $5 million in 2025 within the areas covered by the cost cap. They can also deploy an additional $15 million in capital expenditure over that period. Alpine boss Laurent Rossi mentioned that there had been disagreements amongst the team over legal issues. "We had some points we wanted to discuss on the legal side to make sure that we fully covered as much as possible, which we did. We just kept on discussing those points as far as we could. And at some point, when we reach a level in discussions where we think we're all in a good position, we sign or we're going to sign. "I think it's imminent," said Laurent Rossi. "It looks like Ferrari has got their way with an alliance between Ferrari, Mercedes, Alpine, and Audi, leading to the FIA backtracking on allowing Red Bull newcomer status when it comes to the construction of its engine. According to Italy's La Gazzetta dello Sport, Ferrari president and CEO Benedetto Vigna personally intervened to ensure the matter was dealt accordingly and did showcase the political weight of the prancing horse on the FIA. The key areas of contention have been around Red Bull's high-profile signings of key engine specialists, such as Ben Hodgkinson from Mercedes and 5 of their engineers. This was another key reason for the objection of Red Bull entering as a new engine supplier. On top of this, the teams felt Red Bull boasts a wealth of experience and knowledge of the current V6 hybrid power units. The reports suggest that Red Bull eventually gave up the fight for the newcomer status with the majority against them. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner insists that the new Red Bull powertrain business is a separate entity with minimal links to Honda and limited access to the Japanese automotive giant's intellectual property. However, Red Bull Powertrains does assemble battery packs for the existing Honda engine, meaning that they are deemed to have prior knowledge of aspects of the energy recovery system (ERS) technology. It would mean that Red Bull Powertrains might receive only 90% of the extra benefits for new suppliers, losing $1 million of the spending allowance in 2023 and 2024 and $500,000 in 2025, together with $1.5 million of the capital expenditure allowance. Only Audi will have 100% newcomer status in 2026, allowing them to invest more resources and test hours in producing the first power plant for 2026. Had Ford entered as a sole engine manufacturer, it would have been entitled to the newcomer status and the same benefits as Audi. There is the argument that Red Bull is a drinks manufacturer that race in F1 and not a car manufacturer. F1 history tells us that building something from scratch has tripped up even the biggest brands. 2026 will be an exciting period for F1, and I can't wait to see how it will turn out. Christian Horner believes the new engine will be fitted to the Red Bull car later this year. "We've got 150 weeks left before we have an engine driving out of a pit lane for the first time in the back of a Red Bull car," Horner told Motorsport magazine. "So that focuses the mind. It's a big challenge. It's a ballsy undertaking to think that an independent team can take on those type of manufacturers. Red Bull is still using Honda engines. It does make one wonder what if they look at the Honda engine and tweaking their engine according to Honda's. They do have great expertise in their team and a wealth of knowledge to lean on, such as the Mercedes engine brains Ben Hodgkinson." Christian Horner said this about Red Bull building its own engines. "The great thing about 2026 is by having everything on site, we have everything under one roof, one campus," said the Briton. "We've got chassis engineers sitting next to engine engineers, and so the integration of the chassis and engine is totally at one, and that shouldn't be underestimated." Many fans have been asking what happened to Honda. Well, according to reports, the Japanese team could be heading back to McLaren. The rumors are the teams are in talks, but that is a topic for another video. When we talk about Ford, we of course should talk about Cosworth, and does Ford's entry mean a return to the fold for the famous UK engine supplier? For any new F1 fan, Cosworth Engineering is a British engineering company that began providing engines in the 1960s and was bankrolled by Ford to create the Ford Cosworth DFV, which immediately began sweeping all before it after winning its maiden race at the 1967 Dutch Grand Prix fitted to Jim Clark's Lotus. They remained in F1 until 2013, having numerous owners, including Audi and Ford. Cosworth's history with Ford has led many to believe if Cosworth could be looking to make a F1 comeback, as Ford Motor Company did. But Hal Reisinger, the CEO of Cosworth, has put an end to those rumors after talking to the media about it. "It hasn't been a focus. We're very thankful that we've been able to earn a significant amount of automotive OEM business. That requires dedication of all your resources if you want to do it well, and I don't believe in doing anything less than excellent. It would require us to create another part of our organization to properly serve Formula One, which up until this point in this conversation hasn't presented itself in a compelling enough business proposition for me to consider," said Hal Reisinger. Should Red Bull be considered as a newcomer for the powertrains department? Is the decision taken by the FIA to let Red Bull Powertrains be partial new manufacturer the adequate status for Red Bull? Let us know your opinions in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching our video today, and if you enjoy our content, subscribe to the channel and have that notifications bell turned on to be made aware of our future uploads in preparation of the 2023 Formula One season.